12th of April, 1942, a child was born to Gcinamazwi and Nokubhekisisa Zuma. The child would grow to defy the odds by rising up against profound poverty to a place of global prominence.
Jacob Gedlehlekisa Zuma, the first of 5 children from his father's second wife, was introduced to the ANC by his older half-brother and has been active in politics for over 50 years.
Tell us about where that interest for chess started. Where and when did it start?
This interest started mainly, I knew about it. I hadn't had time to play it. It started in Robben Island because I had more time. And that's why I learned it properly. That's when, if you are playing chess, you won't see how the day has moved. It was consumed here on an interesting thing, looking at new moves, reading, studying the mind of the opponent, anticipating what move they might take to counter yours and what would be your move. How to capture the king. Well, that's a major thing. How to capture the king. You can capture the king without taking any piece if you are clever. But at times, people play until there is very few. And at times, they don't call that checkmate. They call it stalemate.
I like that you mentioned capturing the king. I think it's a good skill to acquire, learning how to play chess, especially for a president. A lot of calculating moves.
A lot of calculating moves. Quite helpful even these days. Because you don't think, you don't see a thing and conclude. You have got to sit back and think so that your move, your action must be emerging from thinking, calculating, looking at disadvantages and advantages, misleading your opponent to think that you are moving this way and that you are moving this way. It's an interesting thing.
Let's go back to the rough and tumble of South African politics. There are supposed to be elections next year. You're going to be the ANC candidate. Are you confident you will win?
Well, we are confident that we will win, really. We'll win the elections. I think from our point of view, there is no question about it. It's a question of what will be the margin of the percentage.
So what's your hope?
Well, we are fighting for 2/3 and above. That's what we are fighting for. And we have got reasons why we will do so.
I want to get to some of the issues that have dodged you recently. One are the improvements made on your estate in Nkandla. There have been reports that the improvements were allegedly for security, but out of the reports came some allegations that it was not only for security and that you essentially used the taxpayer money to improve the luxury of your own home, and that this is not well perceived by the man on the street.
Well, again, as you know, there are investigations on this matter, and I think it will not be good to preempt the conclusions of the matter. I have explained this in Parliament without preempting the investigations. We took a decision to renovate, but to expand our homestead is a family decision. There were plans there which were taken by us as a family. In the process of us working to develop this, then I become elected as a president. Then the security say we need to bring security features which were to be infused in the plans that were there. And they dealt with specific items, not the building of my houses. And I'm sure the report will indicate this.
Because there are reports that
the
taxpayer money,
are allegations.
Tree nurseries, stuff like this.
These reports
you deny
are
them.
Allegations.
Okay.
I deny them.
There have been American raids recently in Libya, in Somalia. We've seen a French intervention in Mali. And President Obama said the following: Africa is one of the places where these terrorist groups gather, and we're going to have to continue to go after them. Does it bother you that French, Americans, British, special troops snoop in, take someone, kill someone, and just
It does bother us. It does bother us because we are here in the continent. We need to be dealing with the continent. People who feel they need to make a contribution or assist, they should be assisting the Africans really, rather than to boldly say we come in your continent, we do what. I don't think other continents would accept that if African countries said we follow your people, we'll get there, we'll deal with them. It is not right. Because in some cases, if people come in, we remain with a bigger problem. Libya is an example. As African countries, we had a roadmap how to deal with the Libyan issue. The big countries bombed it and killed Gaddafi and left a worse security situation in the Sahrawi region, in the north of Africa. They are no longer there. We have to deal with this. It is in the background of this. This is no longer a theoretical question. It's a real question that we had our way as African countries. We went to Libya when Libya was being bombed to try to find a smooth way of solving the problem of bringing about change. But they came with the bombs.
But you supported the French intervention in Mali, for instance.
Of course, yes, because rebels were attacking Mali. They were about to take over Mali. And the French talked to us and said, look, here is a situation, being asked to come in, we want to come in. So we knew, because the region could not handle the matter. That's a different matter. They did not just come and bomb. We're all aware. They called, in fact, a number of heads of state in the continent.
This was taken when we were celebrating the birthday of the ANC. When the ANC was celebrating 103 years since it was born. I had to give a history of this country, and the history is history. History has chapters, painful chapters, wonderful chapters. But it is history. When I said, when Jan van Riebeeck landed in the Western Cape, our problems began. Is a historic fact. Now, I always avoid giving the details of the history, but it's not necessary. When he landed, there were residents here, in this very city, who were established here. The Cohen son. They were living here, and they welcomed him warmly. And he established himself. They were together. Somewhere, somehow, a tension began. And there were wars that were fought. They were removed here forcefully from their area. Removed. And some of them went deep into the country, north, south, east. And the wars began because after the population arriving in South Africa grew. It is written down, it's not me concocting it. There were 8 major wars that were fought in the Eastern Cape. I didn't write that. We are not counting other small wars. 8 major wars. There was a great trek from here when there was a quarrel between the Afrikaners and the British. As a history of this country, there was an establishment of 4 republics, 2 belonging to the British, 2 belonging to the Afrikaners. When all of this was done, the blacks were not consulted, even the establishment of the republics. The clash between the Afrikaners and the British continued. There is no part of the country that there were no clashes. With the British, with the Afrikaners. Some are big and known, some are not known. The Zulus fought the British, and the major one was at Isandlwana. The Afrikaners fought the Zulus, and Ngome, what you call the Brál River. And the British, the Afrikaners discovered, as they call it, the discovery, they actually came across mineral resources. And the British heard this, and they vowed to defeat the Afrikaners. And there was an Anglo-Boer war. That's a history of this country. Very bitter war. We all participated on either side. Only now, when we are correcting history, we are calling it a South African war because we all died in that war. At the end of that war, the English-speaking and the Afrikaners met to negotiate and agreed the four republics should be combined, and took very important decisions. Where will the parliament be as part of compromises? It will be in Cape Town. Where will the administrative city, Pretoria? Where will be the judiciary? Orange Free State in Bloemfontein. And one of the decisions, when these two met, was that you will have, therefore, a union of South Africa, the government, which will be elected at all times, but the black people would not participate in that process. It was that decision, that made the black people to make a call to meet in Mangaung in Bloemfontein to discuss what we called the national calamity, that the indigenous people are not to be part of governing this country. Very bad decision on an important decision of uniting the four republics. It was that time that we said we are going to fight to liberate ourselves, to be part of government. To participate, you must know, because this country was still under British colonialism fully. There were delegations that went to England to raise the matters. We did not want to fight. We wanted to be part of the process to govern this country. This now are the activities many years after the landing of Jan van Riebeeck, who opened the way for them to be here. They started fighting here, Eastern Cape, Free State, everywhere. There were wars. And again, after many years, we said, but what type of a country do we want? Because we must be clear, if we say we want a non-racial South Africa, what are we talking about? That's why the meeting in 1955, wherein everyone in this South Africa, including government, was invited to say what type of a country do we want. And that's why the Freedom Charter is important, because that's when we molded this country we have today. A democratic, prosperous country. Important in that gathering is a preamble of the Freedom Charter. That is the basic policy of the ruling party, where we said, we, the people of South Africa, declare for all to know that South Africa belongs to all who live in it, black and white. Why should you are trying to get a majority you don't have by saying secret ballot? I think it's not fair because you are trying to increase the majority you don't have. So that is my view. Let us vote the way we've been voting all the time. It will be the 8th time. I'm sure by the time we get to December, it will be more than 10. Maybe it's your job as the opposition, even to try to find alternative methods, etc. Fact of the matter, you don't have the majority. And you are not going to have the majority. In 2019, the ANC will win once again because you don't have a majority. That is the problem. You can try. You can try. You can do everything. Unfortunately, you can go to court. The court will bring you back to the legislature. That's what will happen. That's my answer. Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you. Honorable Maimane.
Mr. President, you said here the last time, you said the ANC will rule until it... The tragedy is that you've lost 4 metros. I want to discuss this matter as a matter of fact. The truth of the matter is that more South Africans are losing work under your presidency. The other truth is the fact that our state is now being run by a shadow state and funds are being channeled out of our country. What is all actually true is the fact that unemployment is on a permanent increase. What is factually true is the fact that we've been relegated to junk status under your presidency. What is factually true is that, in fact, I have issued to the Speaker proof that you sought through emails, through documents, to assist in business deals. So I am not here to say the ANC, who have already, they themselves have come out and said you should step down. I'm not asking for an unfair majority.
Honorable Maimane, your time is expired.
No, I want to ask a question.
But you must do it in...
Here
Don't tell a story.
What's your
Here
question?
it is. Does the president in fact believe he is the best person
Honorable
in the
member,
interest
your
of South
time has
Africa
expired.
to lead South Africa?
Honorable
Or
member,
should you
your
not step
time has
down
expired.
now?
Honorable Maimane, please in future stay within your allocated time. Don't add your own time. It becomes unfair on all other speakers here. Go ahead, Mr. President.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. It is absolutely true that the people of this country prefer the ANC to lead them up to this point. There's no doubt about it. No, don't ask the question when we have even taken more time. To the answer. Otherwise, the junk state is not for the first time in South Africa, and there have been different reasons why it has. It has come and gone. Don't make it as if it is the first time when Zuma is the president, because there are specific issues. And there is no shadow government. We have a government that is appropriately as possible, within the capacity, given every other thing. So, don't mislead the country to think that people don't want the ANC government. They love it. They love it. If you don't love it, there's nothing strange. You are in opposition. If you love the ANC, I can tell you, they will take you out of that leadership of yours, of the DA. If you did not. Now, the issue of the one that we are mentioning now, of the metros, I can tell you, if we went to elections now, you lose them. Because, no, absolutely. Because people realize they've made. And I can tell you, next elections, you'll never have these metros. Never.
Deputy Speaker.
Never. And I can tell, we can tell you why these metros were sort of tied. Because you talk as if you won them with slight majority. Not at all. You had to talk and beg other parties to help you form the municipality. That tells you it could have been for anyone. You had to do many things, not to sleep negotiating to get the parties to be on your side. In fact, you are being threatened by EFF that they may run away. You might find yourself out of it, in actual fact, because it is a small little thing of cooperation with other parties. So don't talk as if you won this with overwhelming majority. You know anytime you can lose it. No, before 2019, we are encouraging us to cause a re-election in these places so that we can take our thing back. Absolutely.
Deputy Speaker.
In any way, I think, the final question is, I think the people of South Africa did not make a mistake by electing me as the president of this country. I'm fit and I'm doing it very well.
Deputy
Thank you
Speaker.
very much. If you listen to our good friends, the opposition, I'm telling you, you can think you live in another world. You know, some people who could not pronounce Kandla, they've now learned Nkandla, Nkandla, Nkandla. Even if you tell them the Nkandla report is being processed, is going to come. I mean, 3 investigations have been made. Nkandla, even if we are discussing very serious matters, a man stand up, point of order. Yes, Nkandla. Tix was a George Cook. Hey. That's part of the problem. Again, it emphasizes the poverty of politics in our opposition parties. I can't remember, you know, part of the reason I can't deal with all the contributions. I'm dealing with contributions that were very meaningful. Because others, there was nothing said. There is a broken president in a broken country, you know? My babo. Well, good evening, colleagues, members of the media present here, fellow South Africans. I address you after weeks of speculation about my future as President of the Republic of South Africa. In particular, I make reference to the much publicized and awaited decision of the African National Congress issued on the 13th February 2018. It is now public knowledge that the
National Executive Committee of the ANC resolved to recall me as the President of the Republic. I have also learned that before I respond to the initial decision, a new decision has been made by the ANC, whose effect is that I have now been compelled to resign by way of a motion of no confidence set down for tomorrow, 15 February 2018. I have therefore come to the decision to resign as President of the Republic with immediate effect. Even though I disagree with the decision of the leadership of my organization, I have always been a disciplined member of the ANC. As I leave, I will continue to serve the people of South Africa as well as the ANC, the organization I have served all of my life.
Amandla! Amandla! Viva ANC, viva! Comrades, I would like to appeal that we stop singing. Let us stop singing so that we should get on with the tasks that our members have given us to come to this conference and represent them. I want to appeal even to those
ubayeke ababakusapota ubakhule kungabanganemhlaba
ngoba ngifuna ukuthi bathule bonke. Thank you, comrades. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, comrades. Thank you. Let us now start. Comrades, let us start with our conference. Let us start with our conference. Let us all be seated, please. Masihlaleni phansi. Masihlaleni phansi. Sibambe umthetho. Thank you, comrades. Ngiyabonga. Thank you. National Chairperson, Comrade.
All right, let's now take you back to KwaZulu-Natal in Durban, where the MK party is addressing its members following that trademark case with the ANC. Of course, judgment has been reserved. Let's listen in.
Sibekwe icala singenalo. Eqinisweni likho leli cala. Akho cala eqinisweni. Uyabona ukuthi kuba bekuyicala nje libonakalayo. Vele phela belizosichitha thina ngoba amacala esakathabusika ayasichitha. Nje makuthiwa nje icala kukhona thina siluwini. Baye baxakeka kuleli bazokwenza njani ngoba alikho. Hayi ukuthi kushintsha inkantolo alikashintshi. Bebengazi ukuthi bazothini. Ngizwe mina ngishabelungu bengingiza bekhuluma isingisi sabanga nabo qobo ukuthi bathini. Ngoba kukho lutho. Into ebiyenzekile ukuthi laba bakagogo abayijwayele lento. Abayijwayele ngoba bacabanga ukuthi yonke into bayiwina nje. Noma berobha bayawina nje. Noma bekhipha imali bayawina nje. Hayi ke kunomehluko manje. Thina sumkhonto wesizwe. Uyayizwa leyo nto? Khona abanye okuthiwa amaqembu kuthiwe into enanyancanyana amaganyana angasho lutho nje. Namagama angaziwa abanye bethu. Umkhonto siwazi sonke. Masithanda sithi kile rumo. Kile rumo lasishaba. Khonto wesizwe. Ngeke basithinte. Bajwayela kabi. Ngifisa ukuthi ngizwakalise isifiso sethu sonke. Lelizwe okuthiwa lase South Africa elethu. Siumtsinso okuzimilela la. Abanye abakhona bafika. Kodwa ithina esicindezelwe ukudlula wonke umuntu la eSouth Africa. Cindezela sesicindezela abantu bakithi abathengwe abelungu. Isikhathi manje sokuthi asikhulule lokugcina. Sayilwela inkululeko isikhathi eside. Saze safika lapha esithi khona sifikeleke manje inkululekweni. Kodwa sasingakafiki estation sokugcina. Ingakho nje kule minyaka ewu13 abahlupheka besahlupheka. Bancane bayingcosana abebengahlupheki. Nesasithi siyazama ukuthi asiqede ukuhlupheka basicindezela. Yini bangele lokho ukuthi basheshe basehlule ukuthi thina sikwazi ukubumbana sibe imbumba sibe into eyodwa sivikelane sisizane. Ezinye izizwe ziyakwenza lokho. Into ebalulekile ke manje ukuthi sithi yonke indle emnyama ihlangane kuze siyikhulule. Akekho yosikhulula singayikhululi thina. Futhi manje sesinethuba lokukwenza lokho. Ngoba noma bekade singaboni sesibonile ukuthi abelungu basihlukanisa ukuthi masihlakazekile
asikwazi ukunqoba noma yini. Ngiyajabula manje ngoba kunophawu eSouth Africa lokuthi indle emnyama iyahlangana.